Today in the News Digest, Russia asked for mercy after new successful Ukrainian strikes on the energy sector. Ukraine to supply naval drones to Gulf nations. Zelenskyy to sum up his visit in the Middle East. It's only the top of the iceberg. Zelenskyy on pressure to withdraw from the Donetsk region. Last night, Ukrainian strikes hit Russian cities, including Taganrog and Toliati, where a chemical plant was targeted. Footage shows thick smoke and multiple fire hotspots. The facility produces materials used in military electronics. Additional strikes were reported in occupied Alchevsk, in the Luhansk region, hitting a metallurgical plant, with possible further damage to the site. And Ukrainian drones did it again. I mean Russia's Ust Luga oil terminal in Leningrad Oblast. 7 days ago it started burning and is burning now as you are watching this for 7 days in a row. Long-range Ukrainian drones caused serious damage. Ust Luga is a key Russian seaport on the Baltic, used for oil exports, including shipments via the so-called Shadow Fleet. Meanwhile, Russia is asking for mercy, openly sending a signal to Ukraine in an attempt to save what's left of their energy infrastructure. President Zelenskyy states Ukraine is ready for Easter ceasefire, on one condition.
If Russia is ready not to attack Ukrainian energy, we will not respond on their energy facilities. We are ready for any ceasefire. Volodymyr Zelenskyy, President of Ukraine.
Ukrainian forces also struck the plant in Samara region in Russia. As per General Staff of the Armed Forces, the facility was hit by FP-5 Flamingo missiles. The destruction of the facility has been confirmed, with a following heavy secondary explosion registered in the production area. The plant specializes in producing explosive components for bombs and rockets, as much as over 30,000 tons of military-grade explosives annually. President Zelenskyy has announced Ukraine has reached a naval drone supply agreement with Gulf nations. The deal focuses on the deployment of naval drones and the construction of multi-layered defense systems. Furthermore, Ukraine is sharing its expertise in reopening maritime trade routes to unblock the Strait of Hormuz, specifically detailing the success of the Black Sea corridor. That and more on the Middle East these days in the following story for you.
Over the course of a month of military operations against Iran, the U.S. military has carried out more than 10,000 strikes on targets inside the country. This was stated by the head of U.S. Central Command, General Brad Cooper, who is responsible for operations in the Middle East. When including Israel's actions, the total number of targets hit is even higher. U.S. President Donald Trump says his country had no choice but to start the war.
What we had to do is get rid of the cancer. We had to cut out the cancer. The cancer was Iran with a nuclear weapon, and we've cut it out. Donald Trump, President of the United States.
One of the main objectives of the operation against Iran was the elimination of the country's top military and political leadership. This goal was achieved on the very first day. As a result of an airstrike, Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, was hit. He was effectively the head of state. No major decision was made without his approval. However, Tehran quickly announced a successor, his son, Mojtaba Khamenei. After that, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu threatened the new leader of the Iranian regime as well.
We killed the previous dictator, and the new dictator Mojtaba, a puppet of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, cannot appear in public. I would not take out life insurance policies on any of the leaders of terrorist organizations. He is their patron of terrorism.
The Iranian side, however, is also issuing threats of destruction. It is attacking both military and civilian infrastructure in the region. The countries of the Persian Gulf have suffered, especially the United Arab Emirates, which has endured more than 2,000 attacks. Since the beginning of hostilities, Tehran has launched nearly 400 missiles and over 1,500 drones at targets in the Emirates. Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and Oman have also come under unprovoked shelling. The increased attacks by the Islamic Republic have also targeted American bases in the Middle East and the region's energy infrastructure. Iranian Shahed-type drones have mainly been shot down using expensive missiles, which is extremely inefficient. That is why the countries of the region and the United States have turned to Kyiv for support. Battle-tested Ukrainian interceptor drones have attracted the interest of 11 states. Ukrainian specialists have been sent to the Middle East to help organize air defense.
228 of our experts are in Qatar, in the United Arab Emirates, and in Saudi Arabia. We are also cooperating with Kuwait and Jordan. I will not disclose the details. For now, we are working, we are on the ground. Volodymyr Zelenskyy, President of Ukraine, answering journalists' questions.
However, one of Iran's main tools of pressure has not only been missile terror. Tehran has also targeted the global economy. Iran has announced the blocking of the Strait of Hormuz, the key artery of world oil supplies. Up to 20% of all global shipments pass through it. According to Reuters, the strait has been partially mined, and Iranian warships have begun restricting tanker movements. As a result, oil prices have exceeded $100 per barrel. In response to the actions of the Iranian regime, Donald Trump threatened direct strikes on the country's energy infrastructure.
If Iran doesn't fully open, without threat, the Strait of Hormuz, within 48 hours from this exact point in time, the United States of America will hit and obliterate their various power plants, starting with the biggest one first. Donald Trump, President of the United States, on the social network Truth Social.
Later, the U.S. president stated that he is postponing part of the strikes until April 6th, as he is counting on negotiations, which he says are already underway between Iran and the United States. Meanwhile, Iran's foreign ministry denied this information, but at the same time confirmed cooperation with Russia. The president of Iran thanked dictator Putin for his help and support.
President Putin's statements and the support of the Russian people inspire us in this war. The resistance and courage of the Iranian people promise new ties that will ensure the security of Eastern Asia by the countries of the region. Masoud Pezeshkian, President of Iran, on the social network X.
Ukrainian intelligence has found confirmation of Russian assistance to the Iranian regime. In particular, the occupiers continue to share intelligence data with Iran. This was stated by Volodymyr Zelenskyy. In Europe, there is concern about the cooperation between these dictatorial regimes.
We're deeply concerned about the links between Russia and Iran that have been long-standing in terms of shared capabilities, for example, drones provided to Russia by Iran that have been involved in the conflict by Ukraine, but we have also seen support from Russia provided to Iran in the Middle East conflict as well. And that is why I think as G7 countries we have a shared interest in coming together to discuss these issues and the way that we need to protect our global economy from countries that want to weaponize our economy against us.
Experts note that partnership with Russia strengthens Iran's position and complicates the task for the United States. In effect, this is about the formation of an alternative military alliance that stands against the West, reported by Maria Zheluchenko, UATV News.
There is no easy way to say it, so I'll just say it as it is. Marco Rubio, a 72 Secretary of United States of America, the same person who was once calling Russian aggression unprovoked, today calls Zelenskyy a liar.
That's a lie. And I saw him say that, and it's unfortunate he would say that because he knows that's not true, and that's not what he was told. What he was told is the obvious. Security guarantees are not going to kick in until there's an end to a war, because otherwise you're getting yourself involved in the war. Okay? What is a security guarantee? It is troops that are willing to step in and secure. If you put that in place now, that means you're injecting yourself in the war. What he was told very clearly, and he should have understood it, is that the security guarantees come only after there is an end to the war.
Commenting on this message, Zelenskyy noted that he had opened only a small part of the behind-the-scenes talks.
As they say, most of the iceberg is not visible. Believe me, I have shown only a small part. I'm speaking absolutely openly. It can be framed in different ways. Guarantees will be given only after we withdraw from the Donbass. This is currently the condition for ending the war. Volodymyr Zelenskyy, President of Ukraine.
Russia wants Donbass, despite losing over 1 million of its own people and ready to lose more. For the Kremlin, lives are expendable. After 4 years without military success, it's now seeking political leverage through the U.S., turning security guarantees into a tool of pressure. Kyiv offered a simple solution: agree on guarantees in advance so Congress can approve them when the war ends. But Washington refused, insisting both a peace deal and security guarantees must come only after a full ceasefire. Ukraine is being pushed toward a deal that would hand Russia the entire Donbass, politically, after 4 years of failing to seize it militarily. If Kyiv refuses, the U.S. may step back. If it agrees, it could trade territory for promised security guarantees. But the key question remains: do those guarantees actually guarantee security? Saudi Arabia has long maintained close ties with the U.S., hosting American bases and investing heavily in relations with Donald Trump, including a 2025 defense deal with security guarantees. Yet for over a month, It has faced Iranian attacks without effective U.S. protection, and judging by Trump's rhetoric on both Saudi Arabia and Ukraine, the pattern appears the same, distancing from allies while openly signaling it.
He didn't think this was going to happen. He didn't think he'd be kissing my ass. He really didn't. He thought he'd be just another American president that was a loser, where the country was going downhill. But now he has to be nice to me. You tell him he better be nice to me.
Despite U.S. sanctions, the Russian tanker Anatoly Kolodkin has delivered 100,000 tons of oil to Cuba, according to Russia's transport ministry. Earlier, President Trump said he would not oppose such shipments, claiming they would have no impact because, in his words, Cuba is finished anyway. Now we turn to you. Does allowing Russian oil deliveries to Cuba, despite existing sanctions, signal a shift in policy? Share your thoughts in the comments. That's all for today's News Digest. If you found this breakdown useful, hit like, leave a comment, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next.